adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here with the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who are some killer musicians and friends of mine. So let's welcome to the show, Mikey from Fight From Within.
Yay! What's going on, guys, man? It's good to see you again.
Hey, good seeing you, man.
Yeah, dude, I had a blast last time we were hanging out.
It's always fun. It's always fun, and I have a blast that you have this new single out, Let Me Out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the mantra of my life right now, and which is why I went to Costa Rica last month to escape. That was a let me out moment. Get me away from all this insanity that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's what music's all about.
100%.
And, I want to hear about the surprise.
Oh, the other song? So yeah, we dropped TATT, which is TATT, Tired All the Time. We dropped that with it because it was just something that we wrote, and it was so true because, God, we're exhausted. We're so exhausted. It's hard out here, man. But, Let Me Out, too, I feel like depending on what you did in Costa Rica or what you've done in the past. So that song is literally about a bad LSD trip.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So if you look at the lyrics, it was about a bad acid trip. The song itself, instrumentally, was just very, I felt like it was extreme. It was extreme, and it was super trippy. The way the way that we blended the breakdown in the middle and everything. So I formulated it around a bad acid trip. Not saying that I've ever done acid or anything like that.
Well, only somebody that's done would know what it's like to have a bad one and want to get out of it. And
want to get out when you're sitting there for 9 hours later. Why won't it stop?
Exactly. And to me, I think that's what makes great music too, is everybody puts their own meaning to stuff. And there's so many things that people could say, let me out to nowadays.
100%.
And as far as the other song, Tired All the Time. Well, listen, I don't know how you could even be a musician today. Like, back in the day, if you were a musician, you fucked off, you partied, sex, and all that. And people would cheer you on. Nowadays, you don't have record labels throwing that silly money at people. So you have to work all the time. And it's such hard work being a musician nowadays. You have so much to compete with. Like, there's so many bands. And people don't even give you, because of their short attention span, that the amount of time that's necessary.
No, 100%.
And so, I mean, that is definitely, like some of my favorite songs. Perfect example. I was doing coverage at what do you call it, at Hell's Heroes, and Udo was there, and I heard the beginning of his set, and it took me only 1 second to know what song it was. But that first 10 seconds is something that nowadays kids probably wouldn't even listen to. And that was Fast as a Shark. And when it's starting to be do-dee-da-da, most kids nowadays would probably go to the next track after hearing that. And they would have missed one of the best songs ever.
Yeah. I listen to all types of crazy shit. I was to this day, I listen to my favorite Pink Floyd EP with Animals. Right.
Nice.
I love that. And I'll be putting it on and people be like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, are you out of your mind? This is music, man.
that album specifically has given me insight to all my bad choices of women for the rest of my life. And I'll tell you why. because okay, so I was 12 years old. My dad's business partner had two stepdaughters. Both of them were super hot. Okay. One was 13, one was 11. The 13-year-old, she was like, I was still kind of geeky. I wasn't even really that cool yet. Like,
Mhm.
I was still, I was still kind of like that, you're on that border
Yep.
of geekiness and cooldom at that 12-year-old mark.
Right, in that
And-
mix of puberty when it's starting to hit.
Exactly. And that, okay, so she turned me on to that album, Animals. And to this day, I can't listen to that album without thinking about her. Now, the funny part about the story is I had a total crush on her, massive, but she was 13. I'm 12. That wasn't happening. Her boyfriend was some dude, Van, who was 17 or 18, like that type, that situation.
Yep.
And she also, she was partying, doing drugs. I hadn't found that life yet.
Yeah.
And then there was her sister who was 11, who was also super hot, and she had a super crush on me. And I wasn't interested at all because she was too young.
I feel like that happens still a lot, like especially younger. The ones you were chasing weren't interested, and the ones that were chasing you weren't interested in.
Oh, totally. I think it
Yeah.
happens to everybody as adults too.
Yeah.
But here's the best part. Okay. So the older one, she ended up like a heroin addict, prostitute, all these things.
That's
Like
sad.
I dodged the bullet that her not liking me, and yeah, it
Mhm.
is sad. But karma is a bitch, and somebody up there has a sense of humor because the younger one, she became a famous supermodel, and that's the one I turned down. So I look at it now, I'm like, that was the beginning of my wrong choices.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all thing. I can listen to the song Dogs so much. That 17-minute masterpiece has always been stuck.
And
It was
imagine,
cool.
we were just talking about this in last interview. Imagine somebody listening to a 17-minute song now, like a kid.
No, that's 17 songs now.
Exactly. I was talking about, imagine kids would never listen to Dazed and Confused because it was too long. And I think that's what's making a comeback a little though, is that bands, are going back to musicianship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the even younger generations are going back to that too. Cause I have like two granddaughters that what did they want for their birthday? They wanted me to take them to get them a vinyl.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely the hardcore
that's hope.
community too. The hardcore community tends to be extremely just about the music.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And that's good to see, especially with younger kids these days. Unfortunately, a lot of it, it sets yourself up that you right now you have to just learn how to be your own label. It's kind of like you were saying earlier, because a lot of people aren't taking people and spending that kind of money anymore. And now everything's so oversaturated, but you actually have the tools to get out there. You just have to be able to use them. And a lot of people don't want to even bother learning how.
Yeah. And it's a lot, like, so, you go back to the day of the tape trading days. That was fun. It wasn't a lot. But like even what I do, I have to be on all these different socials, and it's like sometimes I just want to like throw it all out the window, because it's like it's so much for you artists to have to do. You can't just do like one thing. You can't do like Motley Crue did and plaster flyers all over LA on telephone poles, and you have so much. It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job, 1,000,000%. As a band manager too, I tell my guys, I'm like, listen, if you think you can take a day off, you can't. Like
you're not relevant anymore.
No, man. If you take a couple hours off, people don't know who you are anymore. So it's it's so important to just be in front of someone's face constantly, right? And that's something that my band has been pretty successful at with our like impact reels that we have. You know, someone crashes into a car and all of a sudden it goes to a breakdown, right? It really punches people into your music. It makes people pay attention, right? And that's hard now. It's hard to get anyone's attention.
Yeah, totally. And even from my end, like, as you know, because we met this way, I go on tour and I do media coverage at music festivals all over the US, UK, Europe. There's sometimes that I'm like, maybe I'm going to sit out this year, this one. And then it's like, no, I can't.
I can't.
You can't sit one out. You know,
No.
it's like, otherwise, you're not relevant anymore the next year.
Even me, my band doesn't even have to be playing, and I somehow need to make sure that I'm there.
Right.
You know, my band still has to have a representative at these things, even if we're not playing.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, that's also the beauty nowadays is that you do have people like Danny Wimmer that are putting on these major festivals and bringing artists up that normally wouldn't, because that used to be like, it's coming back next year, but that used to be Ozfest. Is like, I remember I was at Ozfest 99 and saw on the third little teeny stage Slipknot, Mudvayne, and In This Moment, all on the little teeny stage.
Yeah, it's insane. I remember one of my things as a kid. You remember Hit Parader and Circus Magazine?
Totally.
Dude, my bedroom was just posted in all those pictures they would have. So Mudvayne, Chad Gray is like my idol.
Nice.
Right. So when I got to meet him at Louder Than Life and actually hang out with the guys, their guitarist Marcus Rafferty is a good friend of mine. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. And you know, Danny Wimmer, dude, you know, like their whole community, they just want everybody. They provide literally a spot where everyone can just network and talk and help each other grow and form connections and relationships. I feel like I owe Danny Wimmer like half of our career, honestly.
And there's a lot of bands that could say the same, you know, like he discovers bands. The funniest thing I remember is, you know, the band Silly Goose, right?
Yep.
So I'm trying to remember which festival it was. I'm pretty sure
all of them.
But the first one that they crashed, okay, like old school punk bands used to do.
Yeah.
They just pulled up and they played in the parking area without permission. And Wimmer was sitting there with his arms folded watching them.
Yep.
Next day, they were on the stage.
Yep.
On a real stage, and they've been on festivals ever since.
Yeah, they're so sick. I remember seeing that happen, and then we ended up playing the festival Incarceration. We played the small stage, but they played the campground stage, and they had people hanging in trees. Dude, it was a party out there.
Oh yeah,
and they're kind of like, even for being younger, like they're definitely an inspiration to people who are older. I feel like too, man, getting out there and really getting back to the roots of just, we're gonna play whether the fuck you like it or not.
Yeah, and you know, it is funny because they were, before the Danny Wimmer thing, they were going on tour doing this. Like it wasn't a tour that was booked. It was just, let's get in the trailer. I remember I was covering Riot Fest and they were outside the venue promoting a Subway show they were having.
Yeah, they were playing. I think it was Lollapalooza. They shut down a parking lot and started playing there. They got arrested in Atlanta for playing in a gas station.
I have the shirt for that.
The shirt, yeah. Dude, you know, good for them, man. That's the stuff you got to, you know, it's crazy that you have to go risk a criminal record to get noticed nowadays.
Right. You know, and there's so many bands out there and so many artists that you do have to go outside the box to get noticed.
There's just no choice, man. You have to provide something different or be relevant, and you have to. If you're not going to hustle 24/7, then you really have to have something going on. You really have to be innovative in some sort of way, right?
Totally.
So there's not really a choice. You're either going to hustle like the rest of us do, or you're going to come up with something that's never been heard before.
And that is what you guys are all about. You're the band headed into 2026. It's like a freight train, all gas, no brakes.
Yeah. We focused on touring this year. Like the festival route is amazing. But we played basically every festival last year. So to go back, it's not as easy. Or that you even want to, because you want to create a demand. You don't want to oversaturate festivals just as much as you don't want to oversaturate your hometown, right? We were lucky enough to have Incarceration back. So Incarceration, we won to get on the first one. Dan Jensen picked us up for the next year, and then they basically gave us our own headlining show the day before, right? So that festival in itself, we've been able to build such an amazing network of amazing people that want us back there. But, we had to take a year off, man,
I hear you. It's like, it's funny because even recently, because last year was brutal for me. Like I was at a festival every weekend from March till October.
God, it's a beautiful thing though.
And it is fun. Like I bring my daughter, and she'll be like halfway through the first day of a festival. She's like, Dad, I don't know how you do this every weekend. I'm done already. And I don't know how I don't. But there are some times that I'm like, well, that as much as I hated it, that period of time during COVID was kind of nice to get that little forced break, but still be able to be relevant because you had no choice by that break. That being said, after that break, it was like, oh my God, I don't know how I lived for 2 years without live music.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think my band was, that's where we formed during COVID. So like we were, lucky enough to just hit the ground running when everything opened back up, which is, it sucks for a lot of people that there was a lot of people that hit the ground running right before COVID started. And they got kind of halted.
I interviewed a bunch of them that they were like about to break out, and then that's it, halted, like you said.
And then if you didn't stay relevant on the internet, then you just fizzled away.
Totally, and that's hard work right there.
Yeah.
So what else can we expect from you guys for the rest of 2026?
Well, we got a bunch of music coming out. We ended up dropping that together, and we've been kind of thinking of just sporadically dropping music, right? Like, hey,
I love it.
Here, who knows? Maybe next month we're gonna have 2 songs come out, right? Who knows? Maybe we're gonna drop an EP. Who knows? Maybe we're gonna drop 4 singles in a month. Maybe we're gonna drop. But I know that you guys are gonna just constantly have music from us. That's something I do know.
And I love that you had that surprise hidden track. That's badass. Stuff like that is what sets a band like you aside from the rest of the crowd. And that's really what you need to do nowadays. You have to stand out.
We're trying to stay relevant. We're trying to hit tours. We'd like to get out to the West Coast. As far as festivals go, we have a few smaller ones this year. We're probably going to aim to try to hit Rockville and Aftershock, 2 places we haven't been yet, maybe next year, right? Or maybe do the circuit for 2027. But this year, we're leaning on a bunch of our own tours. We have a run with Autumn Lies Buried. We're doing a 4-day run with. We're going to be going to Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Joliet, Illinois. It's outside of Chicago. Then we have a tour right after that. We're jumping on with Confessions of a Traitor and Exit Wounds, where we're going to be hitting the from Chicago to New England all the way down to Florida. And then we're cool enough, man, to actually go play 2 shows with direct support for Upon a Burning Body in Texas.
Nice.
And we're going on tour with Young Mosh, bringing them with us from Memphis all the way down to Scene El Rey, which is right on the border.
Wow. Yeah. Very cool.
So that's going to be really cool. And then we have another tour we haven't announced yet. So.
Ooh. So everybody's going to have to watch out for that, huh?
Oh yeah, 100%. We're trying to get out to the West Coast sooner or later too. That's the next trip. We might as well be traveling to Russia at that point, but
right. Well, you need to tell everybody how they can reach out to you on the socials, on the web, so they can watch out for all these happenings that are going to be coming and not miss them.
Yeah, 100%. Everything can be really found on fightfromwithin.com. That's our website. It'll have our updated tour routes. We're extremely active on Facebook, ridiculously active, that is, honestly. And you can find everything there. Our Instagram, Fight From Within NY, on everything. Also, my own little business venture, me and my partner and a few other agents, we started our own booking agency and management company that we've been putting out there called the Core Collective. And you can stay up to date with that and all our bands that we have over there as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love your band. Everybody has to check you out. They can't listen to my show unless they go to some shows and buy some merch.
Okay.
I'll ban them from the show if they don't.
we need it. We need it.
Well, and I say that, jokingly, but it is true. That's the only way bands can get out there and give you a live show and new music is through merch, because surely Audify is not paying you.
No, 100%. That's not happening. But if you get enough streams, you can make money. I will say that.
Well, there you go. And so you got to get out there. Everybody get out there, get them enough streams. And do you have any final words for our listeners?
I guess that's it, man. Just keep supporting the scene. I will say this. The music scene is in a lot of trouble right now. So it's more imperative now than ever to get out there and support people and buy pre-sale tickets and make promoters feel comfortable that they can still bring people out and they're not going to lose their house over it.
No better words right there, because there's been a bunch of festivals that are usually on the Pipeman radio tour that are not going to be there this year.
And that's unfortunate.
One of them's one of my favorites that it blows my mind, but state of the world we're in right now, and that's Punk Rock Bowling in Vegas. Yeah. Like I'm shocked I found out they're not going to have one this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of hard to do anything in California or out that way when it's $7 a gallon right now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And people don't realize, that's why I say they have to support bands buying their merch, because it's a very costly thing to go on tour.
The merch is vitally important for artists. I sit here and I tell everybody right now, as somebody who's deeply rooted as far as booking across the country, working with these festivals, pre-sale tickets. It's cheaper. I understand that, like, when I say pre-sale tickets, imagine I'm not talking about Ticketmaster or Live Nation. And that's those companies with the fees have given a stigma to the smaller ticketing companies that are trying to survive and the promoters that are trying to survive. If the pre-sale, you're going to see tours getting canceled and shows getting canceled left and right if there can't be some kind of compiled data proving that the show is not going to flop. And the only way you're going to be able to save that is by buying pre-sale tickets for these bands that you care about. Do not wait until the last 30 days to buy a ticket, because by that time they might already be thinking about canceling. It doesn't even matter if 160 people show up the day of show. If they don't know that's going to happen, the show's not going to be there. Yeah,
it's a bummer, and we need music more than ever right now, because it's the best therapy there is.
Yeah, well, you're lucky enough to have people like you and people like me that are fighting to try to keep that happening, right? So
there you go. Well, you guys rock.
Thank you.
And I look forward. You definitely have to be at Rockville and Aftershock, because Rockville, well, that's my home state for festivals. But you get to drive on the Daytona Speedway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been there. It's really cool. Are you in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in South Florida. You're
okay.
No, I'm not. Most bands, you're not coming down my way, because
the closest we're gonna be to you is Winter Park.
Yeah, which isn't bad. It's a couple hours.
Yeah.
So, and I would drive up there for one of your shows if I'm not out at a festival. So I'll have to look into that. But
May 24th, I believe, or the 23rd. It's that weekend.
Oh, is that the same weekend as Milwaukee Metal Fest?
Probably.
I might be there. We'll
and that's all right.
We'll check it out because I would always support you guys. You guys
I
rock.
appreciate that.
You're a badass band. And Aftershock, by the way, my favorite of all the Winter festivals.
Are you going to be at Ink this year?
I'm deciding right now.
Well, you'll get to hang out with me if you come.
Yeah, I'm usually there every year. And I'm deciding right now. I do have all my travel booked, so I'm deciding more on the yes than the no.
All right.
But Aftershock has the coolest media artist lounge you ever saw. Like it's a hang. It's a lot of fun.
That's something I definitely can't wait to get a part of. Hopefully next year.
There it is. We're making that happen. We're putting it out in the universe.
All right, let's put it out there.
So thanks a lot for giving us great music, and thanks once again for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Of course, brother. Thank you for having me.
Louder Than Life, North America's loudest rock and metal festival, returns to Louisville this September with My Chemical Romance, Iron Maiden, Tool, Limp Bizkit, plus Pantera, Pierce the Veil, Gojira, Papa Roach, and more. Nearly 200 bands across 7 stages. Louder Than Life at the Kentucky Expo Center, September 17th through 20th. Passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down at louderthanlifefestival.com. Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil, plus Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, and more. Aftershock, October 1st through 4th. Passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down at AftershockFestival.com.
Hey, you're listening to the Adventure and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm excited about this next interview we got with some crazy good musicians and some great stuff we're going to talk about. So let's welcome to the show Rich and Marty from the Freddie Jones Band.
What's up, man?
So
What's going on?
My first question I have to ask, and I already know the answer, but I have to ask just for shits and giggles, is how come Freddie's not on this interview?
Oh, man. I knew that was coming. You know, a funny thing, that this reminds me, a funny thing about that, when we were, starting out on Capricorn Records and first going out and starting to tour around and having to visit radio stations every morning, and they put a press release out ahead of time telling people, whatever you do, don't ask them about the name of the band. So what is that? And so think about how genius that is. They thought, they're like, oh, the guys will think that we're trying to look out for them. Meanwhile, it's genius. What does it do?
Totally.
Everyone asks the question. And so there we were. There's the real story, and then there's all the stories we told. And
that's the part I love, is the story, because I never ask about band names. Okay, I know better than that. I have too many friends that are in bands that like it's the worst question ever.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so funny that you have a band with the name of somebody, and everybody thinks that person's famous, and it's not even anybody in the band.
Yeah, it was a college joke. There was a band before us, and they named the band after a buddy of theirs that wasn't in the band. So he was big man on campus, and these guys, they were friends of ours, and they left, and it was our turn. So we just took it a step further, and we're like, well, let's just invent somebody, and everyone in town will be wondering who this person is. And so we thought that story was very boring. And so when people like you would ask us when we were out on tour, we would instead come up with all these outlandish stories. And it was the first Canadian to cross Lake Michigan in an inner tube. That was one of them. just the craziest stories.
So I go and I do a lot of festivals, and this one band I said to him before the interview, I'm like, hey, I don't ask you stupid questions like how you got your band name. And they're going, well, you're lucky then, because you see that girl sitting next to you. We totally fuck with everybody that asks that, and we different story every time. And the story we told her, you had to see the look of horror on their face. And so this band, they're called August Burns Red, and so they're like, yeah, well, when we were teenagers, my sister, she got this dog. We named it August. We were out in the street partying. We thought it would be funny to light the dog on fire and watch it run down the street. Ergo, August Burns Red. And they're like, and we say it with a straight face, totally. And I'm like, that is the most brilliant shit ever. Because like, I'm all for messing with press people that ask stupid questions, even if it's me.
Well, it's just so funny, especially when you read it in print. Like you pull into town, you did a phoner ahead of time, and you're reading this crazy story, and you're like, "Oh my god, they printed it!" You know?
Yeah,
That's wild.
we had someone introduce us recently that read something. We can't update our Wikipedia because everybody changes it back. And he got up and he introduced us as a comic strip or whatever it says on there, which is a complete BS. And then he was walking off. He said, "Did I do good?" He was a famous radio DJ, and he said, "Did I do good?" I said, "Dude, all that's wrong, but you did great." You know. And it will be a sound check, and the sound guy's always like, "Hey, can you get Fred?" I'm like, "Fred, who?" You know, and Marty. I go, his name's Marty, and they're like, the look of confusion. They're like, "What? Fred? Who's Fred?"
Oh man, that's see, you have to have fun in this industry because playing music's fun, doing that stuff's fun. Everything else is probably shit. The rest is the business end of it. So yeah, you definitely have to, especially when you're doing a whole bunch of interviews. Like I know if I was an artist, like after the first or second time, I'd be like, fuck this. I'm just gonna fuck with people.
Yeah.
Well, you get a little loony out there. That's for sure. When we were playing 200 some dates a year and just on a bus, and I mean, we were like, we're basically a submarine crew out here.
Right? Totally.
You start losing your mind. I mean, you really do.
And see, now you're a moon space crew.
Oh my god!
Like, oh my god, how does that happen?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I actually know how it happened. Somebody likes the band that's up there in space,
right?
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Like they requested your song, and it is such a cool song I think to wake up to in space. Like if you're gonna wake up in space to a song, that's a good song to wake up to.
Yeah,
because you're out there, you're like daydreaming. Like can't be real when you're up there in space. Like it has to feel like a daydream for sure, or good drugs, one of the two. It can't be like I couldn't even conceive of being up there. So that's the perfect song right there, I think.
And I think it probably at that stage where they were, I read this, someone wrote something about it, and they said, what a great song to be looking back at Earth when they were around at that point, and the photos that were used for, the images for that third day, that morning, Friday. Yeah. And then I peeled the song off of Spotify, and you can choose which part of the song. And I chose kind of the outro. And I thought, it has a pretty vast feel to it. And so I got it, like, oh, I get it.
You guys are like the real life soundtrack to Star Trek.
I
thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, my phone I started getting these texts like, hey, what's all this about? Those guys and the astronauts are listening to you in space. And I'm like, oh my God, who put an April Fool's joke up like a couple days ago? Like, people are just getting around to like finding it or something. And then someone sends a link and it's like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah,
I literally almost fell off the chair sitting next to a friend of mine. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Right? It just blows my mind too that like this song isn't a brand new song. Like
No.
the fact that they pulled something out of your catalog from in a different century,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's
Well, they
incredible.
are, I think they're in the same age, bracket as, a lot of our fans. And, we have a very wide, a diverse audience. I mean, we're 35 and up, and, Marty and I are in our 50s. And, it was funny because Friday I was sitting at lunch, and the text message that I received says, from a number I didn't have in my phone, says, uh, so cool that the astronauts are listening to In a Daydream. And I was like, what is this? And then I set my phone down, started having a conversation with my friend here in Nashville, and the phone just started buzzing and buzzing. And I look, and somebody sent the tweet, the NASA, and then I started to send it to Marty, and he sent it to me first. So it was
Wow.
happening. We were both at lunch on different parts of the U.S. and texting each other, and I was like, it was so unreal. I'm like, is this real? And then that's the messages I've gotten all weekend. You see the representatives of NASA talking about the song, and people are posting it saying, is this real? Because that's the crazy thing with AI.
You
Yeah.
just never know.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Wow. Like, so you didn't even really know until other people were telling you.
Yeah. And like for some reason, maybe because of where the mission was, day 3 early on, it was something to talk about. Like, hey, they send music to the astronauts. It was just like a new kind of thing to talk about. And it's just people were sending me videos of themselves watching CNN, and it wasn't just like they were talking about general music in general. There we were. The
It, I
media
agree with
really,
Marty
like,
on that.
they just kind of grabbed onto it, and it became this thing. Like the nightly news and NBC. Like people were seeing it on global stuff. Crazy.
I think we've had every rock star friend of ours reach out and say, what
Yeah.
is this? What is going on? And, it's just so surreal. And, it's
Right.
it's awesome. Marty wrote this song when he was 18 years old or something. I mean, this is crazy, and we're still going. The band's out. We're out there. We go out and do fly dates now, and we're playing. And this is the song they come to see, so it's very special for us.
That is so cool. And then, of course, your latest single, I relate to a lot because I've made a lot of bank deposits that don't get withdrawals in Las Vegas. Okay.
Yeah. I saw the cover behind you, and that's a funny story in itself. And this song is so cool. And I don't know, Marty, tell them what it's really. I mean, this is,
I want to
I
hear
get
the
my
story.
idea of what the song's about, and then Marty writes the lyrics. I'm like, hey, what is this really about? And he's like, oh, it's this. Then it makes sense.
Well, well, that song came from a batch of songs which before this one, a song Connected came out and a song called Mirror Ball. And these were all part of a group of songs that I was delivering for an album. And that for whatever reason, we were going to tuck them away and use them for something else, a different kind of project. And then that never came to fruition. And Rich started reaching out to me kind of one at a time, like, hey, let's go back in and do another one. And then it came time to do another one. And we're like, he kept pressing me on this song. He's like, we got to do No Money in Vegas. He's like, we got to work that up. He's like, there's something there. And, the writing of it was really about, of all places to be with, you don't have much. It's a relationship thing.
Yeah.
You're looking out your hotel window at all of that glitz and all of the um all of that, and
Yeah.
you're perfectly happy without any of all that stuff because you got each other. That's really what it tries to capture.
I love that
This whole
because,
thing came together in a month, by the way. Like
wow.
everything, the release of the song, everything. I mean, it was the song. I mean, Marty's demo is from years ago.
It's almost like you woke up from a daydream.
Oh.
You know, and that girl on the front cover, everybody thinks that's AI. That's our friend Andrea Witt. She plays with Moby and Shania Twain, and you know, she's a friend of mine that just happened to be on the phone with me one day, and somebody texted and said, "Man, we need a really good looking girl for the front cover."
Oh,
You
she
know, and
is
I thought,
totally hot. She's whispering in
Check.
my ear as we're interviewing.
yeah,
Like she's telling me what to say to you guys.
literally I was on the phone with her and I said, "Hey, do you have any photos that we could use?" And so that photo is actually just a photo that was taken backstage at a Moby
That's
show.
such a Vegas photo, though, right
Yeah.
Yeah,
there.
it's
And,
perfect.
like that, you couldn't have like had her if you coached her done better. You know, like that.
It was perfect.
I love it. I love it. So now, how do you top all this? Like, there's a lot of 2026 coming. You know,
Yeah.
you have some high bars to now top.
Well,
Pretty
there's always
crazy,
Mars.
right?
There's always
Yeah.
Mars.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are playing some shows this year.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, I know one way to top it is that you just found out that you're playing Summerfest,
yep,
right? In
yep,
in June, so that's pretty badass because
yep.
that's a
June.
badass festival in Milwaukee.
We've played it a lot, and we have a great relationship with the Summerfest people, and they are fans of the band. They've been so supportive of us in every way. Our time slot this year is amazing. Saturday, I think we're at 7:30 p.m.
Oh my god, that's
Um,
like prime time right there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Normally we play Thursday or Friday or something, but I mean that we've never had a bad Summerfest. It's incredible.
That's that's cool. Like
And
I
That
love
Marty
when
it's
has
I
it.
it's kind of still in that, the wheelhouse. The geographically, it's in that zone. It's close enough to Chicago, and everyone goes up
oh
there for.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I always love to hear when artists praise festivals because there's people that run good festivals and there's people that don't run good festivals. So I always like to hear when the artists like have nothing but good things to say because if you treat the artist right, I think that's when when a festival is a success.
Yeah, they've been not only wonderful to us. I mean, it's tough. We're independent band the past 11 years.
Yeah.
And to get on some of those festivals, you know, you have to have that big management or that agent that's got the pull. And we can go with any band. I mean, we could play with rock bands, we could play with anyone. I mean, the band is we definitely take this serious, and you know, we're excited about it. We go there to rock out. I mean, bands changed a lot since the initial In a Daydream song.
Right.
But without that song, we wouldn't be here right now. And I know it, and I think Marty knows it. And
Yeah.
Well, every band has that song, right? There's at least that one song that everybody just remembers, you know, and everybody's like they associate you with that song. Or I love when I'm at festivals and I'm with people that they're like, "Oh, I didn't know they played that song." Like,
Sure.
like Incubus, that's one of those bands that I've been with people, and it's like every song that comes on, "Oh, that's Incubus. Oh, that's Incubus." And it's like I don't know, 10 different songs they'll say that about. And I'm like, see, to me, that is a great song because, like, people just never forget it. Whether they forget
yeah,
who it is or not, it doesn't matter. They just don't forget the song. And that's what's cool. And now you're up in space. Like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys are on cloud nine when you started hearing that after the confusion settled and you realized it was real. You
Yeah.
know?
yeah,
Somebody said, for that one day, man, we might have been the most talked about band on the planet for
yeah.
one day.
Right?
Yeah.
So actually, our publicist said, I think you are the most famous or most talked about, you know, band in the past 24 hours ever. I mean,
I could tell you when
every
I got
news
the
I turned
email.
on, yeah, every news I turned on talked about us. I was like, what is this a dream? There we go.
And then I got the email from Sean, and I'm like, you don't even have to ask me. Go ahead, book it. Like, it's just
Yeah,
such a
it's
cool story. How many bands can you interview that their music was played on the way to the moon? Just saying. I've
yeah,
done over 3,000 interviews. I think this is the first.
Yeah,
yeah,
I sang the national anthem at Wrigley Field in 2017 that summer, and it was 4th of July weekend. And I was in the middle of singing that song, and I thought to myself, because they'd won the World Series the year before, and I thought to myself in the middle of singing it, I'm like, how many people can say that they've sang this anthem for the world champion Chicago Cubs? And I'm thinking, in 108 years, only the people that are doing it this summer. And so this feels so similar to that, but on obviously a scale that's like, you
Well,
know,
and then Wrigley Field. I mean, like, I'm a Yankee person, and I'm still like, giving props because it's Wrigley Field. Like, there's certain fields. I don't care what team. There's certain fields. If you
yeah,
sang at that field, that's
yeah,
iconic, and Wrigley is one of them for sure.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
yeah. It was amazing. We did the first pitch there as well, and I think we're doing something this year for him. Some of the people there and the owner of the Cubs, Mr. Ricketts, is a fan of the band, which is really cool.
nice. Now, see, I was a pitcher for 9 years, and if I had to throw the first pitch, I'd probably be so afraid that I was going to beam the umpire or some fan in the stands because I was like, it's a whole different story, like pitching in a game compared to being
Yeah.
called out to pitch the first pitch where the whole world is watching. I'd be
yeah,
like,
Yes. You know
I'd,
I
what's
mean,
funny?
I'd
When I
throw it
walked
behind
out
me.
there, when we walked out there onto the field, and I looked at where the mound is when you're standing out there and looked at where the catcher was.
yeah.
I go, Marty, can you throw that far? I was like,
Oh my
Right?
God.
that's a long ways.
It is a
You know,
long ways.
I'm standing there on the third base line, like looking over at it. I'm like, that's nothing, man. I don't see the big deal with this at all. And our guy Max, who runs all the field activities, comes over to me and he's like, "So have you been practicing and everything? You know, because I had sang the anthem before that, the summer before, and I was terrified. I mean, I was absolutely shaking, terrified before. But this time I was like, oh, that's nothing, you know. He's like, well, have you been practicing? I said, what do you mean? Practicing what? He's like, the pitch. Have you been practicing throwing a baseball? I'm like, oh, I haven't thrown a baseball since I was a kid. He's
Oh,
like, oh
man.
my God. He's like, I'll be right back. And he runs over to the bucket of balls and grabs a ball and throws it to me. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna run down there and you're gonna throw it to me. And I whipped it at him. And he's like, oh my God, thank God. You know? But I got out there on the mound. They announce it. I walk out there and I looked at home plate and I'm like, I'm shaking my head at the guy. Like, you gotta be kidding me. That's so far. And he's like, go ahead. You know, I got it to him. It was all right. But
Yeah,
Nice.
he did it. He flung it. I was impressed, man. He flung it.
Yeah, man, that would be like one of the most nerve-wracking experiences. And it's funny for people like us saying this because, with the things that we do, you would think we're always nervous and stuff like that. Or we would never be nervous for something like that because we're so used to getting on stage or getting on mic. Fuck no, man. I'd be like, I hope I don't throw this ball behind me.
I talk about that all the time. People think, oh well, you're on stage in front of people like all the time, so you
Yeah.
must be great at public speaking. And I'm like, no. You don't understand. That's like scripted. It almost
Yeah.
feels like you're hiding behind the music on stage and it's just going through you. You're
Well,
just
you
like
go in a zone. You go in a zone. Like,
yeah. Oh,
just
for
like
sure.
me, anytime I go onto the mic, or I am a public speaker. Anytime I get up on stage and I'm doing speaking, right before I get on stage, man, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm going through my head, blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as the mic turns on, like some switch turns on in my brain and I'm in a zone. And then I get off and you'll recognize this. I'm like, man, I really sucked saying it in my head. And people are coming up to me, oh, that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I think people don't realize that. Like, most of the musicians I've been friends with have the worst stage fright ever. Like my bro that was a head engineer at my station here, he was a country rock duo. He was in a metal band in the 80s. And I used to go and have to pre-game with him before every gig because that's the only way he could get himself to not have stage fright to get up there. And he was really good. But, I think we're all our own worst critics is what it comes down to.
For sure.
It's
I mean,
funny.
I
The only
don't give.
time I remember us having stage fright a little, Marty, was remember when we were doing the iHeart thing with Macklemore, and there was like this big long delay. We're standing there waiting to play one song. There's
Oh,
cameras
see,
everywhere.
that would suck.
Marty and I got together, and Marty goes, "Are you nervous?" I go, "For some reason, I am a little," because it's like, what?
Because you're not just walking out on stage. Now you were ready to go and wait, hold on. So I could totally see that.
It happened to me, I don't know, a few summers ago, and it was Big Head Todd and the Monsters. It was us and the Samples, and it was at Levitt Pavilion in Denver. And kind of unexpectedly, our three bands got together, and we realized that we hadn't done this, the three of us, in so many years, and kind of unexpectedly, like thousands and thousands of tickets sold, and it sold out. And I'm standing there on stage, and I didn't really recognize what it was. And I'm like, I feel kind of weird, and this is a really funny, weird feeling. And I'm like, oh, I'm nervous. This is stage fright,
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, it happened. So
you played it off good, dude. I didn't even know.
See, there it is. There it is. Well, you guys rock. I love all this. I love all that you're doing right now. Everybody's got to go check out your website, the new song, everything you got going on, your tour dates. You got a few dates coming now, and then
we have a ton of dates coming. Yeah, we're announcing a ton of stuff for the summer and fall. So it's going to be awesome.
So everybody, make sure you keep up with these guys, because if not, you can't listen to my show. Love it. Thanks a lot for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.